everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hi, hello, yes, it's me, your favorite educational transformer, king of transformative content, Zachary Michael, and we are back today to get a quick update about our fave, Alicia Dougherty. And let me just be clear, I had a lot of comments saying that I was saying it wrong and correcting me on how to pronounce it. A lot of pronunciations in my comments that also contradicted one another. And I'm just here to say that I just went back and rewatched like 12 videos of how she says it herself, and she says Dougherty.
With the Dougherty Dozen, and this is Tuesday tutorial where hi everyone, it's Alicia with the Dougherty Dozen, and this hi everyone, it's Alicia with the Dougherty Dozen, and this hi everyone, it's Alicia with the Dougherty Dozen, and hi everyone, it's Alicia with the Dougherty Dozen, and this hi everyone, it's Alicia with the Dougherty Dozen, and this
so I don't know if that is how it's traditionally pronounced or not, but it is in fact how Alicia pronounces her own name, and thus how I'm going to say it. I know a lot of people also inform me that people in the Dougherty Dozen critical community like to call her Lush, because I guess she likes to have a little adult premium beverage or two or three or several. But yeah, I'm just gonna call her Alicia Dougherty and refer to the Dougherty Dozen as needed. But mostly probably just call her Alicia, because that feels so much easier. Will probably lead to the least amount of comments from people about how I pronounce her last name. Now, after saying all of that, what's so crazy to me is that I realize she pronounces her name Alicia more than she pronounces it Alicia, and I go on to just keep calling her Alicia, and I wouldn't have even realized all of that if I hadn't just watched those like 6 clips I put together to prove that I was saying Dougherty right, so fuck my life, I guess. But either way, just go with it, please. And also, just so you know, if you didn't catch my video yesterday when I reacted to Amberlynn Reid, the long story short about Lil Potato Doodle-Doo over here is that he was on the way to the vet, we were walking to the vet, and what the vet thinks happened is that one of his nails got caught in a crack on the sidewalk or something along those lines, and it like literally broke off. And so they cleaned it up, took care of it, put some sealant stuff on it of some sort, but they don't want him licking his paws, and so he has the cone on for probably the next week or two. So in case you're wondering, I'll probably stop explaining that at some point, but this is still relatively new. And also, like, I imagine some people who are watching this Alicia content might not have watched the Amberlynn Reid content. So my goal today is to make a somewhat shorter video to just catch people up on things that have happened since my last video, and or maybe like where some things stand in terms of some of the copyright strikes that Alicia has out for people's channels. Because the thing that, for me, really drew me to even looking into what's going on with her right now is the fact that she participated in copyright striking a ton of channels falsely, and specifically because, like, this is not new, right? Like, people are on YouTube constantly abusing the copyright system. I think particularly in this corner of the internet, people know that that happens. It's happened to me at least twice, on top of times where I've had TLC copyright strike my channel for use of 1,000 Pound Sisters clips. But the thing that particularly interests me about Alicia is that she has so many subscribers. She has literally 1.53 million subscribers, and some of the channels she's striking have like 3,000 subscribers, okay? So like the power differential, I think, is just crazy on her end. And so that's what drew me to this specifically, why I got interested. Now, what I have since learned is that there are a lot of reasons to be critical of Miss Alicia, okay? So many reasons. Like, I was literally going back and watching some of the content creators who got copyright strikes from her recently, like in this most recent series of copyright strikes. And literally, Ammy Robinson is one of those creators, and I was watching her video. She was like, just so we're clear on why I'm critical of her, I'm gonna list off all of these things in this video so that you know. And the very first one was the most crazy. crazy one to me. She's like, did y'all know that she literally made a video once where she went through all of the various medicines that her kids take and also like shared all of that and shared which kid took what medicine and this, that, the other. And I'm like, that is crazy. Like who is even tuning in for that content? Like, even if I am a mom who wants to watch other mom content and like learn about recipes or learn about just like being a mom of a large family, this, that, the other, like what benefit do I take from watching content about your kid's medicine? Like, that just really doesn't apply to me. And I think that is like the largest problem that a lot of people have with her, is that so much of her content feels like it's exploiting her own children. So yeah, there's a lot of rabbit holes that you can go down when it comes to Alicia, and a lot of people are like, oh my god, Zach, you picked like one of her least problematic videos. Like, she didn't do anything wrong in that video. And that was like, yeah, well, that was also kind of the point. Like, the point for me was just that I was learning, that I was watching just any video, and the point was also that I was being petty. Okay, I was being petty to show that like, you could transform people's content no matter what the content is, and I can have criticism and commentary about her content even when it's just her making some crazy creamy ham casserole, which, by the way, it is kind like, if you go down the rabbit hole, you find out that that video is problematic, because one of the things that she's said about her kids in the past is that they can't have sugar, carbs, a lot of sugar, a lot of carbs, or dairy.
Cue also the fact that she was then talking about the fact that her children have fetal alcohol syndrome and that they shouldn't be eating sugar or dairy or blah, 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 blah. Yet this is the kind of stuff that she feeds her kids on a regular basis, okay? So she knows that she's poisoning her kids. She knows that she is, like, doing them a disservice.
A lot of these kids are very sensitive to sugar, and that reminds me. Sugar and dairy and carbs, they can create an addiction to, because these children they were predisposed to addiction in utero, and basically for the rest of their life they will always have to watch for things that they could be addicted to.
And did you see that recipe that we made last time? And by we, I mean she made last time. It was full of dairy. That shit was dairy. A lactose nightmare for people who can't consume dairy. So even her least problematic things, I think people can find something to have a problem with in those videos. But yeah, the point was really that I just wanted to watch any video, and it was one of the more recent videos, and it was not too long, in a video where I already spent a lot of time talking about the email correspondence that Jordy received from her lawyers. So today what I want to do is give an update on various channels that have been struck, and then one thing that people did recommend, or at least one commenter recommended on my channel, was to go back and watch some of her nacho and spaghetti table videos, which I did briefly look up, and it seems like they're on the shorts tab of her video, which is probably why I didn't find them, because I'm not really into shorts or reels or TikToks. I'm so bad at that content myself that I don't think to look at other people's content about that. But I figured we could go check out the various table content, and then depending on how much time we have, because I do have a little bit more limited time today. I have some other things I gotta get to in my personal life. But depending on how much time we have, maybe we can go check out some other things. Like, I would love to get an overview of her pantry, which a lot of people have talked about, like her food hoarding tendencies. So I'd like to see some of that if possible, but we'll see what we get into. So when it comes to checking in on the people who have gotten strikes from Alicia in this recent history in the past few weeks, let's start with Cursed Eye, who did just upload a video talking about finding a resolution with Alicia and her team of lawyers, or team of a lawyer, or her management, Sky and Entertainment. I don't know exactly who it was between, but whoever Alicia's team is in all of this Cursed Eye came to a resolution with them. Now, Cursed Eye didn't really say a lot about what the resolution was. It sounds like maybe she's not able to say too much about whatever the agreement was, but it also doesn't sound like Cursed Eye has completely ruled out making Dougherty Dozen related content in the future, although it does sound like maybe perhaps she's going to take some time to decide what she wants to do with the future of her channel. I'm curious that it honestly got to a level of her having her own lawyer team meet with Alicia's lawyer team. I'm curious about what led to all of that happening. Outside of, in the video that Cursed Eye posted, she advised other people who are going through this to have a team of lawyers just to be safe, just to make sure that your needs are being protected, your desires are being protected, basically to make sure you as a content creator are being protected. But to me, I honestly feel like I would have personally, like, and granted, maybe this will change if Miss Alicia decides that she wants to come after me and my channel at some point. But I think I would have written out at least the 10-day appeal situation type of deal when it came to the actual copyright strike. Because to me, at least in looking at the other cases of copyright strikes from Alicia, it doesn't seem like they're really trying to pursue actually taking people to court over the strikes. It really seems like a scare tactic to get people to stop talking negatively about Alicia. Regardless though, it seems like Cursed Eye did what she felt was most necessary to protect herself and or her channel, and that's where that one remains. Through Cursed Eye's video, she mentioned something about another channel, Snarky Bish, getting struck and what Snarky Bish was going through, so I decided to go check in on Snarky Bish. And Snarky Bish essentially seems like she was just waiting to see what happened after the 10-day appeal situation got finished. And it's hard to say what happened because it seems like from a pinned comment on Snarky Bish's most recent video that literally she's pregnant and was being induced in the hospital. So I imagine that whatever's going on with Alicia and or YouTube is not Snarky Bish's primary concern right now, which I think makes a lot of sense, like especially if you're bringing a new child into the world. But I think Snarky Bish and Cursed Eye are the biggest examples of like the power differential going on here. Cursed Eye has 3.37 thousand subscribers, and Snarky Bish has 5.98 thousand subscribers. So we're talking about people who have like the smallest percentage fraction of viewers, whatever the math word is, in comparison to Alicia. 1.53 million subscribers to somebody who has 6,000 subscribers, 3,000 subscribers. Like, she's literally clearly looking through the weeds to get like even the smallest amount of criticism hidden away through these false copyright strike allegations. It's so crazy to me why somebody with such a big audience would be so concerned about somebody who has such few followers. And if anything, I feel like this has brought a lot of attention to both Cursed Eye and Snarky Bish in terms of people coming and seeing what's going on their channels. Like, I literally had no idea that these channels existed prior to this. I'd never heard of them before, and now because she's on this spree of going after several creators, I'm like, I want to know what's going on. So now I am invested in these channels. I am giving them views. I am looking to see what they have to say about Alicia, because Alicia has brought attention to them. Her attempt to hide the criticism and silence people for using bits of her content has not worked. I will say Snarky Bish's 10 days should be up, but like I said, we might not know for a while what's going on with that, since she literally was being induced to have a child at the hospital at the time of her last video, or around the time of her last video. Another person we might not know what happened with for a little bit is Ammy Robinson. I did previously mention that I went back and watched one of her videos about Alicia and learned a lot about Alicia and some of the things that she's done, but did post an update on her community tab 3 days ago saying that she has been going through a variety of things. It sounds like maybe some like mental health related stuff, stuff on top of being just like physically sick as well. So again, we might not get a full update from her on the status of her copyright strikes. So funny enough, she actually did post an update video on her channel. Literally, I got done filming this video and then I pulled up YouTube and saw that she had posted a video like 9 minutes before I opened it up. So she did give an update, and basically her update in her video was just that she actually did do the appeal, and YouTube, for whatever reason, said that she was somehow not using the appeal process correctly. So she didn't even get to the same place in the appeal process that everybody else did, and she hasn't gotten any correspondence from Alicia's team of lawyers or anything like that. So it seems like it's kind of at a standstill. And then on top of that, she also mentioned that there was another like family vlogging channel that has also started copyright striking her channel. So it seems like she's got a lot going on with that, and also just found out through that video that she is a Zachary Michael watcher as well. So hi, Amy. Happy to have you here. But yeah, that's the update for Amy. You can go get more specifics from her actual video itself if you want to watch that. It does seem like she wasn't in a situation where she could potentially lose her channel. Actually, I'm not entirely sure any of the people I've mentioned so far were in the situation where their channel could potentially be removed. However, Jordy from Oh Lordy It's Jordy was in that situation. So we should really catch up with him. Now, at the time of my last video, when I filmed it, he hadn't posted anything new. Then when I was editing it, I had seen a tweet from him that talked about how he got a cease and desist from the lawyer that represents Alicia. And then while I was literally uploading the video, like it was being uploaded to YouTube, waiting to finish and process and all of that so I could click publish, he went live and I was in his live stream and he was going over the letter that he got from the lawyer who represents Alicia Dougherty. And this time the letter was specifically referencing things about defamation and telling him essentially that he needed to stop talking. Like, you need to stop talking about me, you need to stop talking about my client. And just as a reminder, I don't know shit about fuck when it comes to the law, the legal system, the court system, lawsuits, civil lawsuits, criminal lawsuits. I don't know shit about it, okay? What's funny is I did, like, prior to making YouTube my full-time job, I did work at a law school, and I still can tell you very little about the law in general, although I do now know a lot of lawyers because I worked there, but that's about it. I know some lawyers, but I don't know shit about what the law is or what lawyers do. So take everything I have to say with a grain of salt. This is just essentially my thoughts on the message that Jordy got from her lawyer. Now, interestingly, this letter seems to be mostly about the way that Jordy was talking about her lawyer as opposed to how he was talking about her, which I think is interesting. Like, specifically it says, "I'm sending you this correspondence directly from my firm, given that you have opted to make defamatory remarks about my credentials." A big thing to remember about this is that Jordy purposely excluded this lawyer's name from his previous live stream. He crossed that out. On this live stream, he crossed out a little bit more information in regards to, like, specifically the state that this lawyer is licensed to practice in, and also the name of the entertainment company that manages Alicia. I will say, however, Jordy's original video did include the name of that entertainment company, and I just want to say that even with that name of the entertainment company, I tried to find who their lawyer was or what attorney they had on, like, retainer to represent them, and I really couldn't find anything. Now, I'm not, like, the super sleuth of the internet, but I'm just pointing it out that, like, you'd have to be trying really hard to take the information that Jordy did share, the very little information that Jordy did share, to be able to go and find whoever this lawyer is on the internet. And I think that's important when we're talking about Jordy allegedly defaming some internet stranger that I don't even personally know. I don't know their name. I don't know a whole lot about them outside of them representing Alicia. And even if Jordy hadn't like censored the name of the entertainment company or had in the original letter that was sent, you can literally go to Alicia's YouTube channel and she has that listed about her. Or at the very least, if you go and you look for an email, her email is dd@sunandsky.entertainment.com. That's like publicly listed on her own channel. So you could probably figure out that that's the management company that this particular lawyer represents. Perhaps it is enough that Jordy was just talking negatively about the lawyer regardless of a name, because that's potentially him trying to, like, I don't know, undermine the credibility of Alicia's lawyer in general. Like, maybe from, like, a public view, it's not a good look to come for her lawyer. I don't know. But that's essentially, I think, what this lawyer is trying to argue. The lawyer says, "It has come to my attention that you made certain harmful and false allegations about me during a live stream, suggesting that I'm not a US-based attorney, that I am from South Africa, and that I have no rights to act in my capacity as an attorney." Which I did allude to that in my last video. Jordy had mentioned that this lawyer was based in South Africa. I don't remember him saying that the lawyer was from South Africa, just that the lawyer had some kind of practice going on in South Africa. The lawyer also argues that because Jordy showed a copy of the email that the lawyer sent to Jordy on behalf of their client, that those statements were clearly directed at the lawyer, as evidenced by the context and previous knowledge of the lawyer's involvement. And then goes on to say, "This has already caused confusion and concern, leading my clients to question my credentials and express doubt about my ability to practice law." Which is interesting because, like, certainly a part of, like, defamation is to be able to prove that, you know, like, there's some sort of negative impact it has on, like, your financial situation, your career, your ability to make money, this, that, or the other. And it's interesting that, like, anything that Jordy would have said in that video would lead Alicia to feel uncertain about her lawyer's ability to, I don't know, do the job that she's paying him for. Because it seems like that could be easily cleared up with your client. You could just show proof that you are able to do the job that you're supposed to do. So if the only concern is about, like, people you already represent, then you should be able, I would think, to clear that up. I think the larger issue would be if Jordy is potentially losing you new business because people don't know you, and so they're not even going to approach you to sign on to do work with you. But I don't know. Again, I don't know shit about fuck. That's just my thoughts after reading this. Like, if Alicia or any of your current clients have an issue, just clear it up with them. And unless Alicia's like, "I no longer want you to represent me, I'm done because of you, because I question your ability to represent me." I don't know. Does that make sense? Regardless, the lawyer goes on to say that Jordy's claims or whatever are factually incorrect. And they go on to say that they actually can practice law in the United States. And that, moreover, they reside and work in the US full time. So, I don't know where Jordy got the information. Jordy was the one to suggest that this person was located and based in South Africa. So I guess maybe Jordy's responsible for putting that out into the world. But also, on top of all of that, like, I think most people on the internet are still very unaware of who this lawyer is. One other thing that the lawyer mentioned is that during the stream, during Jordy's original stream, Jordy mentioned that he would have been nicer if the copyright claims were retracted immediately. And then the lawyer goes on to say, "However, you failed to acknowledge that because you sent in a counter notification, the option to retract the claim in YouTube Studio was no longer available. As a goodwill gesture, knowing the option is not available, we took each of the counter claims and emailed YouTube on each individual counterclaim you made, stating that we were not pursuing them and requested immediate reinstatement of the content. We acted in good faith and immediately following your confirmation of our agreement, I advise you to stay in touch with us if there were any issues or problems. If we knew you were upset about the speed of this, we could have shown you all our emails to YouTube. Which, the only part of that I find particularly interesting is that their claim that there's not an option to retract copyright strikes on their end after Jordy submitted the counterclaims. And in situations like this one in particular, I don't know if I have experience. In particular, like when it's happened to me like this with Chickens by the Lake and also with Foodie Beauty, both of them made me wait out the whole 10 days before any strikes were dropped. Like neither of them, I don't think either of them ever had the intention to actually take me to court, and they just made me wait. However, I've also experienced the copyright system on the end of like big corporations like TLC, for instance, like Discovery Channel, whoever, whatever, that runs all of their stuff. And on their end, when I've appealed their copyright claims on my videos, they have been able to retract their claims. Specifically, those claims work a little bit differently because TLC has never like tried to remove videos from my channel. They've always just wanted to claim the monetization from my videos whenever I've used their clips and things like that. And whenever I appeal them, I've always come out positively on the other end. It's always come out in my favor, and they've always been able to remove them before the period of time elapsed, you know? They didn't make me wait the full amount of time. Once they reviewed my appeal, they made the assessment and said, okay, we're dropping this. So it's confusing to me that that doesn't exist in the strike situation. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but that feels really weird to me that Alicia couldn't just go into her YouTube studio and be like, I'm gonna drop these copyright strikes against Jordy. Anyways, the lawyer goes on to ask Jordy or demand Jordy do certain things in order to avoid getting a further legal action. In fact, they say, given the gravity of these statements and actions, I demand the following actions within 2 days from the date of this letter, which I think he got this letter on the day that he live streamed, which was June 14th. So technically those 2 days have passed, but Jordy did speculate a lot on stream, like he didn't know if that was 2 business days or not, because like what kind of lawyer is coming in on a Sunday and sending and filing a lawsuit? Like, can you even do that on a Sunday? So perhaps by now, we're now at the 18th. That would be 2 business days since then. Maybe we'll find out more from Jordy. Maybe while I'm editing this or doing other things in my day today, we'll come to find out that Jordy got an additional update about what's going on. But anyways, here are the demands. Removal of the live stream that Jordy spent time talking about this lawyer and the letter from the lawyer. A public correction, posting a clear and conspicuous correction in your community and other platforms stating that your assertions about this attorney, which Jordy crossed out any identifying information about the attorney, were incorrect and that they are represented by a licensed attorney in the state that they're in. I would prefer that you leave my name out, as I do not want your previous false allegations to lead to me having to defend myself in a public forum. Which is interesting that this attorney is noting that like nobody knows who they are because Jordy has yet to say their name. And then yeah, just reinforcing that if Jordy doesn't take action, then he will be forced to take further legal intervention. The only other thing that was interesting about this particular letter to me, without going into detail about everything, is that the lawyer also claimed, because I've talked a lot about how like Jordy intentionally left out the lawyer's name. I talked about how I tried to look up and see if I could find the lawyer and couldn't on my own. Maybe I'm just dumb. But the lawyer insists that based on the comments made by users on Jordy's video, they clearly show that they know the lawyer's name and believe Jordy's false statements, and that this has led to significant consequences for the lawyer's professional reputation. And I didn't see anything in the comments myself that suggested that people know the specific name. There were lots of people referring to this lawyer as a Timu lawyer, as the South African lawyer, as a Shein lawyer, but nobody seemed to actually refer to any lawyers by names from what I saw personally. I mean, I didn't comb every single comment, so perhaps I missed something. But overwhelmingly, like, most of the comments did not seem to center around anybody knowing the identity of this lawyer. Jordy did follow up with the lawyer, which I thought was, I don't know, personally an interesting choice. I don't know if I would have played games like this with a lawyer, but Jordy did send an email back and just said, "You are a joke, stop emailing me." To which the lawyer responded, "Stop making false allegations about me and my client. You've been placed on notice about your false allegations. You either remove the video or we proceed in court. No need to email you further." So, very curious what will happen there, what will be the further outcomes. And I know this video is kind of probably already longer than I anticipated, but I do want to take some time just to just to watch, comment on, and react to educationally the shorts that were suggested by one of the people in my comments from the last video, suggesting that I should look at these various table things that she does. So let's just start with this nacho table one. This one has 395,000 views and it's only 30 seconds long. So this shouldn't take too long, but let's get to, shall we? Oh wait, what is this? I might have to mute it. I might have to mute it because I don't want to get, listen, I already have to worry about Miss Alicia copyright striking me. I don't need to worry about whoever produced this song. Does she say any words in this? Maybe I can turn on closed captions. maybe that will help. So if she says anything, I can see it that way. But oh, look at this, all on a table. Lots of dairy, lots of cheese there. I don't know if you saw that, if you caught that, but there's lots of cheese for a group of kids that are maybe not supposed to have any cheese. But okay, lots of, oh, we got Tostitos, we got Tostitos, Doritos, we got the Scoops, you got the Fritos. Okay, work. Who knew that you could have different kinds of chips? I was just thinking these were regular old nachos. She also has a nacho pool TikTok reel situation, which is alarming to me as well because it's still giving the same vibes. Probably even worse, honestly, that it's in a kiddie pool as opposed to just doing it on the table. Like, this feels even more out there. So let's watch this as well because this is crazy. All right, so nacho pool for my 12 kids. Let's go. There's the overview of it. And here's all the Tostitos. Yummy. Oh, that's a lot of chips, actually. Damn, okay, and then all that ground beef. And it's in a kiddie pool next to her actual pool. Ooh, then she's got some kind of melted cheese sauce. Like, I love a nacho, but I'm not trying to do this, because I also just imagine, do you remember when you were a kid and you, like, fully would go swimming all day and then you'd get out and you'd be so hungry and you'd have your, like, pruned up little fingers that were still really wet and gross and you just immediately start eating shit? Like, that's what I'm picturing here, is all of her kids getting out of the pool being like, I'm hungry, it's time to chow down out of the kiddie pool with my pruned little fingers. Yummy. Oh, and then salsa and lots of cheese, but lettuce and black olives and tomatoes. It seems like there's more veg in this one. Not that it matters. I mean, do what you want. But I guess, like, more veg is what you would think she would focus on, considering that she said that her kids have, like, dairy problems. But here we are. I digress. Yummy. And then one other table scape made out of food that I want to show you is the spaghetti table. Spaghetti table 420. Not 420, not like 420 blaze it, but 420 people. Here we go. We surprised our son with a spaghetti table for his birthday. Oh my god, happy birthday. Wow. Also, this looks like already, I haven't even clicked play, but this looks like the blandest ass spaghetti. There's those dry ass noodles, those meatballs that were probably frozen that don't look like they have any additional seasoning or flavor. The pasta that looks like it's, or the pasta sauce that looks like it's straight out of the jar. Yummy. I wonder if it is straight out of the jar. That's also a shit ton of meatballs and noodle. And breadsticks. I didn't even comment on the breadsticks. Oh yeah, that's just straight out of the jar. Is it even warmed up? I wonder if the pasta sauce is even warmed up. I do love a breadstick though. I'm not gonna lie, like part of me for the fun of it would like to chow down, would like to go to town, but this just seems like all three of these that we've watched so far just seem like some shit that you would do for like views and clicks and clout on the internet. Like it doesn't seem like it's actually super reasonable, you know? Now I think when I was looking through her recent shorts, there seemed to be one that showed maybe a little bit into, it's a what my kids ate today. If she shows her kids, I won't show anything from it. But it does look like you get a little view into her pantry, or at least that's what the thumbnail looks like. So let's take a look at that. All right, what my 11 kids ate today. Let's go. All right, this is the, ooh, come on, waffles. Now, the thumbnail did have the pantry in it. That's what I'm concerned about. Oh, we gotta go through each of the kids' lunches. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. Could you imagine having your own little personal grocery store in your home? Look at all those oatmeal cream pies. I ain't had one of them shits in a long time. I would love an oatmeal cream pie right now, except I think the last time I went to go get one from like the corner store by my house, I was looking at the like nutrition facts, and those things have, all those Little Debbie snacks have so many calories packed into like such a small treat that I think I was like, no, I can't do this. It's not worth it. But damn, that is crazy. Oh, what is that? What is that? Oh, cornbread? But what was in the crock pot? That looked questionable. Ooh, chocolate sundae crunch bars. Okay, work. Come on, dairy. It's funny that now that I know that she said once upon a time that our kids can't have dairy, that like almost every food related content has like heavy on the dairy. It's crazy to me. All right, let me end it there because my camera already stopped on me at one point because it said my memory card was too full. So I don't want to go too crazy, and I've definitely taken a much longer time filming this video today than I originally planned. So that's your update on Miss Alicia Dougherty. I hope that you feel so informed, so educated, all of the above today. And of course, if anything more happens with Jordy, I'll give you an update because that's the case that I'm most interested in, because Jordy like clearly doesn't give a shit about Alicia's lawyers. So I'm curious to see what happens there. But either way, it seems like Alicia can't take a little bit of criticism on the internet, and she is really interested in stifling it. That's my opinion, at least. That's my observation. So I'm curious to see what else she gets herself into over, I don't know, the next few days, the next few weeks, months. A lot of these people got strikes on their content months after they made the original content. So I imagine, like, knock on some wood that she doesn't come for me because I'm being so educational and transformative over here. But I imagine if she does, it'll be months from now. So we'll just have to wait and see. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did and you're brand new to my channel, consider subscribing down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I love you all so much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!